As women over 60, many of us reach a stage in life where we begin longing for companionship, for closeness, understanding, and a sense of togetherness in our later years. The thought of sharing our home with a partner can feel comforting and even practical. Two people sharing expenses, supporting each other emotionally, and navigating life together as a team sounds reassuring. However, before you take the serious step of moving in with a man, it is absolutely essential to pause and look closely at the situation. There are signs that may indicate you are stepping into something that could ultimately cost you far more than you ever expected. This is not always about online scams, dangerous strangers, or obvious bad intentions. More often, it is about recognizing patterns that are far more subtle, but just as damaging. Especially at this stage of life, these patterns can appear harmless, even romantic and logical. Yet over time, they can quietly compromise your peace, your health, your independence, and everything you have worked so hard to build over the years. Having worked as a male therapist with women your age for many years, I have witnessed firsthand how moving in with the wrong man can cause deep and lasting harm. There are 5 crucial warning signs that should never be ignored when considering such a major life decision. When you learn to recognize these signs, you protect your heart, your home, and your future. But when these signs are overlooked, you risk finding yourself trapped in a situation that becomes increasingly difficult and sometimes painful to escape. So let's walk through these signs together. I promise that by the end, you will be able to see these red flags more clearly than ever before. The first sign is one that many women fall for without even realizing it: the love bombing phase that never seems to end. When you meet a man who constantly showers you with affection, sends you flowers for no reason, and tells you that you are his soulmate, that you were destined to be together, it can feel like a dream come true. He texts you every morning, calls you every night, and makes you feel like the most special woman in the world. The problem arises when this intense love bombing continues for months, sometimes even a year, without a single real challenge. There are no disagreements, no difficult moments, no friction at all. When you were younger, you likely experienced love at first sight, but you also understood that real relationships naturally come with ups and downs, frustrations, and differences of opinion. With this man, however, everything feels perfect, and that is exactly the problem. It is too perfect. A relationship that is idealized from the very beginning is not genuine love. It is a performance. It is a strategy designed to emotionally hook you, making you dependent on his affection so that you overlook the warning signs when they appear. Patricia, a retired school principal I worked with, met a man at a community event. For the first 8 months, he did everything right. He paid constant attention to her, brought thoughtful gifts, and made her feel deeply cherished. He never raised his voice, never disagreed, and always treated her as if she were the most important woman in his world. Then, after 8 months, he began suggesting that it was silly for them to maintain 2 separate homes. "Why not combine our resources?" he asked. "We're not getting any younger. Why waste time?" At first, the logic sounded reasonable, even loving. What Patricia did not realize was that the love bombing had been intentional from the start. It was not proof of his goodness. It was a way to emotionally secure her before slowly revealing his true intentions. When the love bombing phase lasts too long and never includes real conflict or challenge, you are not experiencing genuine love. You are being manipulated. The second warning sign appears when a man tries to move too quickly into your life. Healthy men understand that trust takes time. They respect that you already have established routines, responsibilities, and a full life that deserves consideration. They do not rush their way into your world. But when a man begins pushing for deeper involvement too quickly, it should raise concern. He may want to know everything about your personal life, your medical history, your finances, your fears, within just a few weeks. He might start showing up unexpectedly at places you frequent, or question why you need time with friends when you could be spending more time with him. At first, this behavior may feel flattering or romantic. Over time, however, you may notice that your life is slowly starting to revolve around him. Your routines change. Your time feels invaded. Your personal space begins to shrink. This is no longer about partnership. It is about control. A man who truly respects you will encourage you to maintain your friendships, your hobbies, and your independence. If he pushes you to rearrange your entire life for him too quickly, he is not honoring your boundaries. He is attempting to take control. The third sign is more subtle, but just as dangerous. This is when a man becomes unusually interested in your stability, your home, your income, your benefits, your savings, and the security you have built. He may never ask directly how much money you have, but he will frequently comment on how fortunate you are or how hard life has become financially. He may admire your home, talking about how peaceful it feels, while casually mentioning how expensive or difficult life is for him. These remarks are not innocent admiration. They are assessments. He is evaluating you as an asset. Linda, another woman I worked with, met a man at church who initially appeared kind and attentive. Over time, he repeatedly commented on her home, saying things like, "This place feels so safe," or "It's not really safe for a woman to live alone." These statements sounded protective, but they were actually part of a subtle sales pitch, laying the groundwork for combining resources. This is not love. This is financial interest. A good man respects your independence and never pressures you to merge your life or assets out of convenience. If conversations repeatedly circle back to your home, savings, or security, he is not seeing you. He is seeing what you provide. The fourth warning sign emerges when your needs are treated as excessive, while his needs are treated as urgent. In the beginning, he may seem generous and helpful, running errands or offering assistance. But pay close attention when you ask for emotional consideration or personal space. If he resists meeting your friends, sulks when you ask to slow things down, or becomes defensive when you express concerns, these are serious red flags. If you share a fear and he redirects the conversation back to himself, or if you ask for time alone and he accuses you of being distant, the imbalance is clear. In a healthy relationship, both partners' needs are respected equally. But when a man makes you feel guilty for having needs, when your comfort becomes negotiable while his is non-negotiable, control is taking place. Moving in with a man who subtly punishes you for having needs leads to emotional exhaustion and eventually psychological captivity. The fifth and most dangerous sign of all is this: when you fear being alone more than you fear being unhappy. If your greatest fear is solitude, you may ignore every warning sign simply to avoid starting over. This is exactly the vulnerability that certain men know how to exploit. When fear drives your decisions, you may tell yourself you can fix him, that you are too old to be selective, or that it's better to settle than to be alone. But this is where the greatest risk lies. It is far better to live alone in peace than to share your home with a man who drains you, uses you, or controls you. You deserve peace. You deserve respect. You deserve love, not rooted in fear, but in genuine worth. These 5 signs are not meant to discourage you from love. They exist to help you recognize when love is being manipulated. Take your time, protect your peace. Your home should be your sanctuary, never your prison. If you notice any of these signs, slow down, talk to someone you trust, listen to your instincts, and always remember, your peace is worth far more than any promise a man can make.